Hey up everyone, what's going on? And welcome back to Sheffield United, where two games have been played and coincidentally both games have been won by a former Liverpool player. We have beaten Crystal Palace 3-2 away from home, where the deciding goal was an own goal by Nathaniel Klein. More surprisingly, Liverpool themselves were dispatched by Ryan Brewster. Today's the FA Cup semi-final, perhaps the Man United game afterwards, but that is already in jeopardy from the fact I need to show you 3 of these 5 goals that we've scored. I will start with Lys Mousset's first goal in here, which actually got me to exclaim out loud because of how good it was. I've never seen this happen in Football Manager before. Match Engine, what an improvement it's been. So to now show you what I'm talking about, this move starts with Mousset being actually tackled by Lys Mousset, and it's this move there by Anthony Gordon. The back heel to Mousset there. I've never seen anything like that in Football Manager. Just genuinely phenomenal. And then I absolutely have to show you both goals from the Liverpool match, which realistically, quite a tight one on the XG, but we did score twice. The first of which is Nakajima's only positive contribution all year. Nakajima found himself on the pitch late on as a substitute because I had no other options. Gordon was on a 6.2, McBurney on a 6.2. Both of them needed to be subbed off. Nakajima came on, and bear in mind he's only scored once all year and been absolutely woeful in general. He then went and did this. Evian involved in the move as well, as the one who found Nakajima, runs into the corner of the box and then just wallops it. Out of nowhere, Nakajima has pulled out one of the goals of the season. A 7.5, the heady heights of a 7.5. From a player who's averaged 6.7 now, including that 7.5. 6.6 for the season all told as well. Ryan Brewster's goal is a little bit more confusing. I'm still not certain if this is intentional or an accident. Adam Smith, though, on the round side, drills it into the box, and I don't know if he just hits that or it hits him. We take it regardless. What that means is not only have we played Liverpool 3 times this year and not lost to them, we're also Liverpool's only loss, and the only other side apart from Manchester City to take points away from Anfield. They absolutely hate us now. 4 points against them in 2 matches in the league and knocked them out of the FA Cup. FA Cup next, of course. The only real piece of news to speak of is guess who got the Player of the Match awards in both of those games? Yep, he now has 5 and he's now 4th. Benoit Badiashile is a cheat code. Fulham's highest Player of the Match award, Steve Cook, signed in January as well, and is cup tied for this match, so we'll see how they fare without him. And we've got issues though, because Badiashile himself is suspended, so our star defenders correspondingly out of this particular match, and Burge is injured as well. Lower Nakajima, after doing something good, now injured. It's the way it goes. Now the great news is Mousset is actually back here. Now, thankfully, one of our strongest positions is actually that DLP. We've got quite a few players who can play that competently well. So Burge, whilst it is quite a big loss, it's not the worst loss. Egan steps into the central defence. Again, not a massive job. Badiashile, of course, sensational. But John Egan, very, very good player. Realistically, probably should be Badiashile's counterpart, but Vavro's been playing fantastically alongside Benoit. So the lineup is Ramsdale, Stevens, Egan and Vavro, Smith, Norwood, Gagliardini, Brewster, McBurney and Montiel, with Mousset in front of them. Montiel has just been quite very solid. One thing I do like about Montiel is he does have potential ability, but because he's been on loan here this year when Brexit happened, he's got the settled status. Should we ever want to try that? 3 goals, 5 assists and 22. It's not great, but it's also not Nakajima or Evian. Evian's really got to pick up at some point. Really has to pick up at some point. So just those changes as we come back in. The return of Mousset is actually probably more important than I just gave it credit for. Fulham's lineup looks solid. Still don't understand how they're 9th. I suspect I'm about to find out. As I feel like this is an additional thing for when your match is televised, where it actually shows you the lineups. But we do line up with identical formations, the 4-2-3-1, as we were pressing their defender quite early on there. That is a level of eagerness that I am well approve of. Mousset dropping deep, finds now Brewster on the left-hand side. Stevens on the overlap, as we like to see. Finds Brewster again once more. Norwood's found a little bit of space, and it's cannoned off Mousset. I think it's intentional. I think it's a genuinely fantastic move all told. As, fingers crossed here, this is slightly less bonkers and bizarre than the FA Cup quarter-final against Liverpool. But Brewster finds Norwood. Don't know how he managed to get that assist off, and Mousset, actually shadowed by McBurney, I presume, directly behind him as well. Either of them could have got to that, and either of them could have put it in, but it's Mousset. It's 2 minutes in, 1-0. Lookerman cannons a ball off one of our players. McBurney now going to charge, and we're only 5 minutes later on. He's gone all the way into the box, and he's trying to shoot from there. Took me a second to process that. Seri has a free kick, and that's cheeky, actually. Lookman, though, on the edge of the box. Anguissa. Who's going to find the space? Lookman has found a bit of space, but Ramsdale deals with that somewhat comfortably. And this highlight does look like it may continue. Ramsdale hoofs it off the pitch. Blimey, that's a wallop. And I was slightly concerned that was a Fulham player there because I'm not really certain why the kits, someone hasn't changed their kit. White and black versus white and red feels a bit of a kit clash. I don't know if Sheffield United have a third kit that would have worked here, or if Fulham's away kit would have worked here. I'm still not really fully certain where this highlight's going. It's in Fulham's possession, and Tete has got a bit of space on this right-hand side if he can keep it in and supply. Knockout, I don't know what happened there defensively. He's ended up with a Mitrovic goal. Even the text at the bottom said somehow the ball found its way in. Yeah, I'm not really certain what happens here with the person who really should be on knockout. I think it's Brewster should be tracking him, and just isn't. I feel like too many of these highlights are starting with Fulham possession. Loftus-Cheek going around the defender there is crazy. I feel like the ability for players to just run around defenders like that, like literally just rotate around them as if they're a ring road, I feel like that's far too easy. Right, trying to fire them up. It is 1-1 still. Really, really don't want another game to go to extra time here. And Bernie finds Brewster, and that's a lovely move by Mousset. And Brewster combining, and that deserved the goal at the end. The movement from Mousset there was sensational. Essentially, what looked like to be dummying the defender, making him think you're going to go one way and then running around the opposite. Beautiful work. And Brewster's just read that brilliantly too. All credit on the assist as well. And it's 2-1. Quite even game, all told. XG, we've had the better of. The number of shots in general is quite even if we've clearly had the better shots in total. Montiel now on this right-hand side does have the overlap, and I think... No, he doesn't. He goes backwards to Norwood. I really expected that to go out to Adam Smith. It has now, though. Backwards into the middle. I think that was intended for Norwood, but Gagliardini ended up running onto it, and McBurney probably should have scored. We'll see how that affected the XG in a moment, but short option available with Brewster has been covered, so maybe there's an option in the middle. There isn't. And it's Knockaert, the one that's loose. That's what I mean. That's what I mean right there, where the defender goes into the player, like on the halfway line, and the attacker just runs around them. It happens every time. It works both ways, of course. They're telling me to take off McBurney, because he's absolutely knackered, apparently. Evian, the player to come on. He's on 7.5, but we do only have 15 minutes left of the match, so looking at my options on the bench, yeah, Evian is the best central. With Burge not on the pitch at all, I can't exactly move players around. So I am going to have to straight swap Evian in for McBurney there. Tete, this is moving around Fulham's possession right now. Mitrovic, I mean, they're passing this around way too nicely. It's got to Stevens, who's just going to punt it long over to Mousset, who chests it nicely, and this should be a goal. It is 3-1. Putting a bit of daylight between the two sides, and I feel slightly less bad about bringing Evian on now for a quite good McBurney performance. Although admittedly, he should have scored one himself. This is great control by Mousset. The defenders misread it entirely. And Areola finds himself in no man's land as Mousset slides it past. Yes, continue with that tactical change. I feel like I'm going to have to bring Norwood off at some point as well. John Fleck exists. Stevens knackered as well, but I just realised there's 2 minutes left of the game as Mousset possibly should have got a hat-trick there. John Fleck on a corner, puts it in, goes nowhere. Oh, he does have a hat-trick anyway. Sorry. For some reason I thought the second one was scored by someone else entirely. Mousset did have 3 goals in that. Only gets an 8.8. Congratulations, lads. You've all dreamt of playing in the final, and now you're going to be doing it. I'm delighted for you all. I absolutely am delighted for them all, and that will be a game later on. I'm chuffed. I love the inclusion of the word chuffed in this year's game. Praise Mousset. The question asked about Scott Parker, I said he was one of the good guys in football, and I actually genuinely believe that. Like, his ability as a manager, that's an opinion. But Scott Parker does genuinely seem like a very good guy. So with that wrapped up, we will see who wins the other semi-final. But Man United, 5th v 4th, that's the table as well with everything else involved. 6 player of the matches for Benoit Badiashile in total. Ender Stevens has the most assists, average ratings Ben Osborne. What an underrated player he is. And Elise Mousset with 15 goals. That's the stats. We're doing an unbelievable job, and the finances are going even better at this point. But yeah, we are 6 points behind Man United. Beat them here. Goes to 3. I feel like there's a nice little buffer on Arsenal this stage of the season. 7th will be available because Man United won the Carabao Cup, a final that we sadly just missed. So it's nice to get to the FA Cup one instead, where it's very likely it's going to be Manchester City. I presume the other semi-finals on a Sunday, so we'll quickly just see that result and then we'll move straight on to Manchester United. So they're playing right now as it tries to work out the result. The Jack Harrison derby, as I mentally call it. Leeds won. Well then, what a fascinating FA Cup final this is going to be. And perhaps crucial, actually. They may be bottom of the Premier League table, but they could get European football. Are they about to pull a Wigan? Leeds only 4 points from safety. Leicester and Newcastle in danger. Crystal Palace and West Brom could get drawn into it. With the goal 50 being talked a lot about lately, who's caught your eye? What is the goal 50? I'm assuming it's something striking related. As Sheffield United, I feel like shouldn't be trying to butter up Erling Haaland. Mbappe. I still don't know what the goal 50 is. As much as I'd love to have Haaland, narratively doesn't feel right. So curiously, Manchester United are regarded as aggressive and wasteful. At least something's accurate. Whereas we're pretty much slap bang in the middle, just very slightly on the aggressive side and very slightly on the clinical side. Both for us differing levels of quiet and impenetrable though. So whilst we've got 4 of the remaining big 6, currently as things stand, Chelsea, Man City, Man United and Arsenal still to play again, an 8-point gap with 8 games to go feels quite nice. But that fight directly behind Arsenal, Southampton, Brighton, Fulham, arguably even Wolves at this point, is quite interesting because 7th might open up. If we win the FA Cup, 7th might open up for European football. Now, they've played more games than either us and Arsenal, so I'm not quite sure they'll end up challenging 5th or 6th, but they might. One of those teams is likely going to get 7th. And it's an interesting fight, as Brighton just smashed Tottenham to help their case. Why Tottenham so bad in the game? So a few players not on full green. Hart, so they've stepped out. Evian comes in, Fleck comes in, Osborne comes in, Badiashile comes in for Vavro, who's just played quite a lot of games in a row, so I'm just letting him step out for a game while we've got a few in quick succession. Egan's going to line up alongside Badiashile today with Bogle on the right, Norwood alongside Fleck in the middle, Brewster, McBurney and Evian now on the attack line, and Mousset remains up front. Match load wise, it's just Norwood on the heavy, but midfielder wise, we've got a few options off the bench. Osborne's unhappy, by the way, because he wants a new contract. I said I'd deal with it at the end of the season. We're like 10 games away, mate. As they play Brandon Williams, Victor Lindelof, Harry Maguire, Tellez, Malinovsky, Pogba, Greenwood, Fernandes, Rashford and Cavani. The bench looks disturbingly... Donny van de Beek on the bench. Well, he's got some things, right? Donny van de Beek just can't buy a start. 15 minutes gone, there's been, well, now 2 shots. It's not exactly the most thrilling game so far. So I've just instructed our side to go a little bit shorter, a little bit slower in the tempo. Just work the opportunities. Don't rush them. Don't give them the opportunity to counter back again, as this looks dangerous. It's been hoofed wide. And I've just realised we've zoomed out. This is absolutely broken, isn't it? 0-0 feels about right. Neither side with major chances. Motivated most of the side at half-time, and Osborne has a long throw. Not seen a lot of this in the... Well, that wasn't exactly a long throw, was it? It just went to the first person and then immediately got tackled. But Osborne now. Norwood, McBurney, Fleck, Evian. Nice slow, short passing. Keep it sensible, keep it smart. Don't do anything stupid. That was awful. The hair now, though, does punt it forward, and that felt dangerous for a second. Egan with a header. Osborne... What was that pass? Like, even with a short, simple, straightforward pass, he managed to mess that one up, and oh dear. Well, there's 2 major issues there. I think Bogle and Rashford got the ball, but it was the initial interception from a terrible, terrible short pass. I don't know if Bogle hits that or if it hits Bogle. I don't know how much information Bogle had about that as it hit him. Just to demand a little bit more, Osborne, header of the back post. I feel like we're not seeing enough of set pieces in general this year, actually. I'm not sure if they've ended up countering how powerful they were last year, just a little bit too much. Ooh, that was an odd save, but it's kept out regardless. Tellez, and yeah, that was the highlight. I thought it was. Neither side reached 1 in the XG yet, but Man United are edging closer. Right, so we've got plenty of players who are really tired at this stage. I think this is going to take on a full-on reorganisation as Montiel comes in on the right. Gordon's going to have to come in on the left for Brewster, who's also knackered. Norwood is just going to have to survive a little bit longer because I don't want to make all 3 at the same time. Badiashile on a 7.3 because, of course, he's our best player. Montiel, ooh, just about gets away with that. Not sure how Tellez didn't get booked technically, because considering he definitely didn't get the ball there and lunged in from behind. But never mind. Malinovsky runs to the entire team and smacks it wide. Not sure why that was a highlight. That was a terrible shot. Ramsdale to Bogle with a really good first-time pass actually to Fleck. Unnecessarily good. Norwood, though, to Osborne. That pass has already been intercepted once, mate. Can we stop trying that? Gordon. Actually, Mousset's through here. This is surprising. It's 1-1. It's not being centred back on the referee. I think this is counting. Lys Mousset with his 4th goal of the episode and 16th goal of the season. Yeah, I was worried about that pass being intercepted again, but Anthony Gordon just finds the ball. And the Everton player on loan is helping dent Manchester United's chances at the title. Or Europe, for that matter. Or Champions League, I should say. Pretty certain Man United are going to get European football, but they are 4th and only 6 points ahead of us. Same number of games played. Not over though, 71 minutes on the clock. Man United definitely the better of the two sides, but not by a great deal. The highlight continues. Malinovsky, Greenwood. Oh, Martial's running there is far too good, and yeah, 2-1 Man United. Only 5 goals for Anthony Martial. Did come off the bench though, so it does indicate that he may not necessarily be the starter this year. This run by Martial is disturbing how easy he got past Benoit there. Very rare for Benoit to fall asleep, but he did at that moment, and it mattered so much. Just realised I was on attacking. Gagliardini comes in the midfield for Norwood, who is absolutely knackered. I do want to get back into this game, so we will actually stay attacking. There's not much reason, like 3-1, whatever. Bogle, though, charging forward. Mousset might actually get between the defenders here. He's gone for it a little bit, possibly too early there. Got to be said, Manchester United are deserved winners here, but a draw wouldn't have been out of the realms of possibility looking at the stats. Manchester United have created way more, but their XG isn't massively better than ours. Although, it might be now, as Martial skews that one wide. Okay, now it's massively better. It's 1.6 to 0.8. It's exactly twice. And another late chance for Man United as it gets to 95 minutes on the clock. I'm more worried about a red card here than the penalty. Of course they're getting penalties. Manchester United, what am I talking about? It didn't look like a foul, says the text, but VAR's confirmed it. And Badiashile wasn't even booked for the challenge, so God knows what they're thinking. But Bruno Fernandes stepping up. I don't mind Bruno Fernandes if I'm honest. He's in my fantasy football team. He can score as many penalties as he likes in real life, as he did at the weekend. Captained him as well. Nice, lovely 22 points, I think it was. Anyway, 3-1 Man United. Third one's a little bit rude, I guess, but of course the penalty pretty much has an entire 1 to the XG normally, so does flatter them. And despite getting away with the penalty, Badiashile still has a 7.3. Not happy with the performance in general. Well, hampered, that's completely killed the very vague hope of Champions League football. As you can see there, that leaves us 9 points behind. 8 points still ahead of Arsenal, but they've now got a game in hand, away at West Ham, who are in trouble. Quick glance at their run-in. They are still in the Europa League, though, so commitments. Liverpool away, Man United away in their run-in, and of course, we're included in that as well. So there's still plenty of chance for damage to be done to their Champions League charge or 5th place charge at the bare minimum. They've had a really tough run-in in the knockout stages. Lille, Gladbach, and then San Sebastian. Shakhtar, bizarrely, in the semi-final are possibly the easiest side they've played. They even have Milan in their group stages. They've just done a major European tour. They've done French, German, Italian, and Spanish sides. And now they've got the Shakhtar on top of that. Guaranteed Italian finalist, though. Ah, well that's confusing. The FA Cup finals actually popped in before the end of the actual season. I was going to do a 3-game special at the end of the year, but it might just be a solo FA Cup final now, followed by Wolves and West Ham in a separate episode entirely. So I'll see you for that one next time out. Until then, ta-ra.